What is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Apologize, my voice is definitely gone. Had a really good weekend. I'm yelling yesterday at the Club Rowdy Comp and a concert that I went to, which if you guys didn't know, which now you will, I was in a part of a music video for a band called Split Persona and their single Drown. So right now it's playing on Spotify. If you guys want to go ahead and listen to it, watch the music video, I definitely go check it out, take a look. Split Persona is a new upcoming band here in North Nevada, Reno area, so check them out. They are super good. Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music, whatever music app that you use. But anyways,
search everywhere.
we finally took the head gasket out. Really excited about that. Right now I'm just taking all the accessories out just so that I can lift the motor up. We have the engine puller right here. I have to go underneath and disconnect the bell housing so that I can take this out and take it straight up. So got to take the engine mounts out, and I took the hood off as well so we could just take it out, move it into there, because we're going to be doing all of this engine rebuild in the garage. We are going to completely redo this block and everything associated with it. So I'm going to paint it. We're going to make sure all the accessories over here are all nice so that it looks good. The main reason I want to do all of that is because once we install it again, if there's any oil leaks, coolant leaks, whatever it may be, we'll actually visibly be able to see them. And then as soon as I take the engine out and get on a stand, which is right over there, the stand hasn't even, it's assembled. It just, I haven't even got to the point of like actually putting it together. Kind of forgot how to put it together, so we'll have to figure that out. But once I do that, the subframe and all of that underneath is gonna get power washed. I don't think anyone has touched this car since 95, which is the year of the car. So it's gonna be good to get underneath everything and just clean everything out, make it look nice. You're never going to be able to see it, but at least I'll know, and if there's any leaks, I will be able to visually see it, so I'll catch it a lot quicker. Also, I just realized that this car is a California emissions car, and we already know how we feel about California emissions, so I'm really glad that I'm being able to use this as my track drift car. What I do want to show you guys right now is this head. I did have to drill out this, and I have all of this to protect all the metal shavings, which I will be taking the spark plugs out as well, and I need to get new spark plugs, so all of this is going to be clean. That tube right there is messed up, and the walls, if you can see the walls, they're not as sharp anymore. This is the next cylinder just to get reference of it, so I think that might be a problem. I'm not entirely sure. The threads, I did shoot into the sidewall a little bit on that one, but I will be chasing the threads and making them nice and clean and putting washers, so I think we may be good. I honestly have a really good feeling that this head will survive, let's say that, because it's not going to thrive. I am planning on putting another head on the motor in the future, and I'm not going to tell you guys which head I'm going to put on it, but I will be putting another cylinder head on it just for better flow. I want to get the motor out today so that I can start prepping everything, getting everything done. I have not ordered anything yet because I want to see the condition. I'm going to replace everything anyways, but I want to take it apart and know what I have to replace so that I can get a parts list going. Let's get this started. Let's do it. This bolt right here is going to be a E10 E-Torx. That's an E-Torx. So this way we don't have to bend the AC lines and we don't have to evacuate the AC. Is the R134A. And in true fashion, gonna put them all the bolts back so that when we go to put everything back in, everything will be easy, breezy, beautiful. Guess all there is left to do is jack the car up. Let's get it done. I will say one thing, it's really convenient to get these top transmission bolts out when you don't have a head on your engine. Without the cylinder head, it's super easy to get into these top ones, which are usually very difficult to get to. That's all we need. Go. Oh, that wasn't even turned on. That's a good thing. As long as I can clean the threads out, this should work. What I'm gonna go ahead and do first is put the transmission jack I have underneath it so I can have some support. The last thing I want to do is take the engine out and have all of the weight that the transmission is in front of the transmission to not have the support of the weight of the engine on its engine mounts. So we're gonna go ahead and just take this, put it underneath it so that it has some weight. I don't trust this this transmission mount very much. It's solid, it's not going to go anywhere, but I don't want to risk having all the transmission weight onto it because it's not a light transmission. So we're going to go ahead and just put this transmission jack underneath the transmission so it keeps it up. Also, what I'm going to try to do is where it sits right now, I'm going to have it rest on the transmission jack so that as soon as we go to put the engine back in, the transmission hasn't moved, so we'll just have to move the engine. It probably isn't going to go that smoothly just because that's just how it is. That's how cars are, but we're going to try our best to get it in as smoothly as possible. So let's go ahead and jack this thing up, and we'll also get the engine mount bolts, which are right there. So that's one transmission bolt, and then there's one on the other side. I usually would lift it with a chain with a tilty thingy, but I don't have one of those right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take this bolt out here, and then I'm gonna put the bolt through this, and then put the bolt through this so that it doesn't go anywhere. There we go, that's one. Then we're gonna go in the back of the housing, put it on that right there. We have no engine in the car anymore, so I'm gonna clean all this up and try to spray as much as possible, clean everything up. You got this thing over here, and definitely in rough shape. You always want to see that. That's a good sight to see. I did realize now that I have it out that I don't have bolts long enough to go from that are gonna go from the engine to the engine mount. So we technically can't mount this engine because I have to go get bolts tomorrow, since today nothing's open because it's the weekend. So that is going to be, well, something that I didn't see coming, but that's okay. So I should probably show you guys this. If I can reach in and grab this real quick before the camera dies. So that is one of the engine mounts. It goes right here. And that is the other engine mount right here. So new engine mounts. Thankfully, all you have to do is replace this. But yeah, this engine mount is toasted. So, and some oil's coming out of it. So I'm gonna get some new engine mounts. I am gonna be draining the oil into a oil drain pan, and I want to see what this oil looks like because I have not drained it since the day we spun the motor. So I really want to see what the main bearings are looking like, but I want to see if there's any fragments in the oil. So you guys, we got this thing up on an engine stand with a lot of difficulty. So I couldn't get to this point without getting these bolts, which I had to order. These are M12 by 1.25 by 80 millimeter, which is roughly about 3¼ inches. We're finally able to put this in an engine stand. This thing looks wild. I did have a hard time just because the head wasn't on, so I had to hoist it up a few different ways, but we got it on this. Is it sketchy? Kind of, but does it work? It does, because I wanted to show you guys what the oil in this looks like. So without further ado, we're going to take this off and we're going to inspect it. So let's do that right quick. There's definitely some, yep, there's some glitter in there. I can definitely see some glitter in there. That's a mocha. That is coolant. Yep. Well, blew the head gasket. That's for dang sure. I can definitely see some glitter in there. It's a rocky road. Oh yeah, you can see all the glitter. Oh Lord. Yeah, I definitely spun something. At least we're doing this, you know. We're doing it for a reason. I'm halfway bummed, but at the same time not really. And let me explain to you why. So, half of me is very bummed that this happened. Blowing up an engine, especially a JZ, is not something that happens every single day. However, I am happy it happened, and here's the reason why. One, this was gonna probably happen nonetheless, regardless. Like, I was gonna have to do this anyways, sometime soon. It was gonna have to happen. And second, at least I know that this was all not in vain. I would have been super upset if I had gone through this whole process and nothing was wrong. So at least we are taking the proper precautions and we are catching it as it happens. So part of me is bummed, but part of me is relieved that we're doing this, because now we get to start off with a fresh slate almost, and we get to build this to still being NA, but to the specs that we want to. And I can finally say that I've taken an engine down to its block, not down to a bare block, but down to a long block pretty much. Now that the engine is completely empty with all the fluids, now we can go ahead and turn the motor over and make sure that we take the oil pan off and the windage tray and all that stuff. And it's also another opportunity for me to use an engine stand, which I've never used before. So I mean, this is not something that I'm excited for, but I am relieved that we're doing this. So I think I'm gonna leave this overnight just to be able to completely drain everything out. As you can see, we do have some shards coming through, and that's a nice mocha color. So yeah, I'm gonna let this dry overnight, just to make sure all the oil from all crevices are out. I actually am going to spin the engine the top toward us, so that lowest point will be the oil drain plug, so that as much oil as possible gets drained out. Hopefully I can make it into the pan, but we will continue. The disassembly will be in the morning, so let's get this done. Okay, so it is the next day. Do not bend this. Most people replace this, but I'm gonna reuse it, so I'm gonna not bend that. Also, I love having a bucket of bolts because this is like a M8 by 1.25, and unfortunately for the puller set that I have, these are standard and they won't work. So because I have just a bucket of loose bolts, we got ones that'll fit and that are long enough. I have no idea where I got these from, but I'm glad I got two of them. We're gonna use this, pull this pulley off so that we can get to the front main. If I'm gonna clean all of this up, might as well, I'm in here, replace that front main seal. For those that have never used a puller before, usually what I'll do is I'll set everything up, make everything loose, and then I'll put this in as far as possible. I just slowly take it out because, and just so that it slides out as efficiently as possible, we're gonna put some WD or PB Blaster on the inside of it and on the inside of the crankshaft. This thing is coming out like butter now. Let's go. There we go. And that is off. I'm gonna keep these together by zip tying them. It's always easier to keep things together when you zip tie them so that they can't leave each other. So we're gonna go ahead and zip tie these up. As far as oil leaks, let's check this out real quick. It wasn't leaking at all, too bad anyways, but since we're here, we might as well replace it. The moment of truth, y'all. How bad is this? Yeah, that's not good. The thrust bearings on whatever cylinder decided to just yeet. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're gonna clean all these bolts. I think someone has been in this before because the oil pan gasket is gray, which from factory it's usually black because it's black FIPG. So I think someone might have been in this already. I just feel better when I can take everything out by hand. It just feels nicer. Oh yeah. Ooh, there we go. Oh man. Woo. I'm gonna have to clean that up real nice. Well, got that out. Sick. So, we are at the point now where I kind of figured out what's going on with the engine, and it is not good. So, I reached out to a couple of my engine building friends regarding the thrust washers being in the oil pan, and all they said back, each one of them all said the same thing: crank walk. And what crank walk is, I'll try to explain it the best I can. It is where when your clutch depresses, and since we have a hydraulic internal clutch with the manual swap, when the clutch depresses, it pushes against the diaphragm, but with too much pressure, it can also push against the crank. The common causes of crank walk is when you, one, don't disable the neutral safety switch, where you have to put the clutch in every single time to start the car, because every single time you put the clutch in, it moves the crank, or depress it fully, not to depress it to change gears. So in our case, the car turns on without the neutral safety switch because it's an automatic, and even when my car was automatic, I didn't have to press the brake pedal in, so I can just start it without any pedals being pressed. The second cause of crank walk is when the clutch has so much force against the crank that it actually stalls the motor out, which is what we were having earlier in the manual swap series. Pretty much the entirety of the series with the manual swap getting installed up until this point, the engine has just been slowly getting the signs of crank walk, where it stalled every single time I drove it while the engine was, while it was still running. Every single time I put it in neutral, it would try to stall out and I'd have to blip the throttle, which is another sign of crank walk. And when the crank walks, we're talking about like 10, 20, 30 thou, which is very small. However, the thrust washers sit in the crank. I'll try to put a picture up for you guys so you guys can visually see it. But every single time the crank walks, the thrust washers hit the sides of the block. And over time, when it does it consecutively and consistently, the thrust washers will pretty much get sanded down because it's being pushed up against the surface and the friction is sanding it down to where it drops from the crank into the oil pan. And that's what you guys saw in the video, is my thrust washers in the oil pan. And the reason why this is such a bad thing is because normally when thrust washers drop, that means that like it's too far gone. Like the crank, the block, everything is too far gone. Every single engine builder that I talked to said the same thing. and they all said nothing in that block is reusable. I did ask them about the pistons or the piston rods. They said it's very slim chance. I'm gonna roll with trying to see if the piston rods are okay, because I have a surprise for you guys, and I'm not gonna spoil it in this video. Stay tuned for that, because I think it's going to be a really exciting video. Unfortunately, it's going to suck for me, but for you guys, it'll be enjoyable, because it's going to be just another full series that we have to go into. But I am determined to get this motor running no matter how long it takes, because I'm not going to give up. We've come too far to give up, so we're not going to do that. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep pushing forward, and we're just going to keep our heads up and just keep it going, because at this point there's nowhere else to go forward, because we can't go back. There's nothing for us there in the past, so we're gonna have to keep going forward. But with that being said, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. If you guys haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. This whole journey's been it's a lot of learning. Let's just say that it's been a lot of learning, but if you guys subscribe, you'll keep learning with me, and we'll keep growing as a channel, which I'm super stoked and thankful for all of you guys that have subscribed already. We've had a huge growth in channel, which I'm very, very stoked for. So thank you guys all for joining the Ohana. And then if you guys haven't liked this video, definitely like it, and comment down below if what are you guys thoughts on this, because for like right now I'm kind of in disbelief, and it's like that shock, you know what I mean? When you hear some bad news, you're in shock, you have no idea what to do, and then from there you kind of can figure out your basis and then move forward, which we're slowly moving forward. It's not as fast as I want it to be, but in these situations you can't really like make fast decisions. You have to, think about them, make sure it's the right decision to make, and then go from there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm trying to do my best with making the videos as precise with the most information as possible, but not making it too long, and hopefully in the future have sick, cool, fast running cars, most importantly, and builds that no one's ever seen before. So that's the plan for the future, and I hope you guys come with me. So thank you guys again, appreciate it, and I feel like I have to embrace this phrase more than ever right now. But never forget, guys, always stay positive and stay true to who you are. Till next time, shoots.
Search everywhere.